today.
Hey,
The workout I'm thinking of right.
Okay, here we go. All right, we're going to be solving polynomials today. And we know that if it's x to the fourth, how many answers are you going to have?
4.
4. X to the fourth, you're going to have 4. This is a little loud. Turn that down. Okay. If the degree of the polynomial is 7, how many answers does it have? 7. Okay, so the degree tells you how many answers there are. We're going to be able to find all of those, not just determining whether or not one is or isn't. Okay, so we're going to first start out looking at the possible rational roots. There's a rational roots theorem that says that if it exists, then it comes from the factors of the last term and the factors of the first term. Okay, so what we're going to do, they call these P's and Q's. So if we look at the last term, we're going to list all the factors of 12. What are some factors of 12? 6 and 2, 1, 12, what other one? Oh, 3 and 4, okay. 3, yes. Let me get a little more room in here. Okay, these are going to be all the P's. And if I look at the first coefficient, there's understood to be a 1 here. What are all the factors of 1?
1 and 1.
And it is always plus and minus, okay? Where? It should be on your paper. Oh, no, it's a 12. All right, so all the possibilities that we're going to look at, the possibilities of x-intercepts that we could have is all the P's divided by all the Q's. So we're going to make a list of P's over Q. Okay? So we have plus or minus 1 over 1, which is the same thing. Plus or minus 2 over 1, which is again 2. Plus or minus 3 over 1. Over 1. Over 1. And plus or minus 12 over 1. Here are all the possibilities where this graph might cross the x-axis. So we started with like infinite number of possibilities. Now we've got it narrowed down to this list. This is where it could cross the x-axis. Now because we have technology, we can pick out off of our calculator which ones is going to work. If you don't have a calculator, you just get to start at the left and keep going until you find a 0 in the remainder. Okay? So when it says list the possible rational roots, they want to know what P over Q is. These are the possibilities for the x-intercepts. Doesn't mean that they're going to hit everywhere at every one of these numbers, but that's just the possible. Okay? All right. We're going to keep going. We need to go to our calculator and figure out where one of these x-intercepts are. Okay? So we're going to go to our calculator. We're going to type in f of x. Hopefully. Does anybody need help with their calculator typing in f of x? You yours have the calculator on it? Okay, well, you have the graphing calculator on there? Then fine. Otherwise, put it away. Hit at 3, right? Hits at 3. So we know that if we divide by 3, we should get a 0 as one of our as our remainder. Okay, so we're going to synthetically divide using 3. Well, it says x equals 3. The factor would have been x minus 3. Okay? You just use the x-intercepts. All right, so we're going to list our coefficients. Does it skip any? Does it skip any exponents? No, so we're okay. We don't have to insert any zeros this time. As a remainder, because that's where it hit the x-axis. So we bring down the first number. We're going to use that purple paper and go through the algorithm. 1 times 3 is 3.
0.
It is. It's a factor. And we saw it on the graph. X equals 3 is a x-intercept. We're going to write the depressed polynomial now. Put the x's back in. So we started with something that's cubic. Now it is quadratic.
How is it?
Go ahead. What?
If it's 0,
Mm-hmm.
it does work.
It does work.
I'm not talking about that 0.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the depressed polynomial. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if this is 3, right?
Yeah.
This is now going to be 1x squared
Yeah.
plus 0x, which I don't have to write. Okay. Plus 4. All right. This is x squared. This is the x. This is the nothing. Okay, now we're going to find the rest of these solutions. Okay? Now, when we looked at the graph, it only had one x-intercept, but how many answers are we really supposed to get? 3 total, right? Because the degree is 3, right? Right here, the degree is 3. I'm supposed to get 3 answers. Right now, I know that x equals 3 is one of them. So I'm going to solve x squared plus 4 using my background knowledge. So we could do quadratic formula, we can factor, we can do the square root property. We might even be able to do synthetic division again. We could. Let's just go ahead and solve it because it's an easy one to solve, isn't it? If I subtract 4 from both sides, x squared equals negative 4. So what would x have to equal? Plus and minus 2i. So we took the square root property. Now we have all 3 answers. The solutions are x equals 3 from the synthetic division. And now x equals positive 2i and x equals negative 2i. There's 3 answers total. We got them all. All right, let's look at another one. All right, so what questions do you have so far that you missed? P's and thank yous. I don't know why we call that P's and Q's. Do you? Anybody? No? Oh, thank yous. I get it. Okay. All right, so here we go. We're going to list all of the P's. So all the factors of 12 again. So we got 1. Yes. Plus and minus, always. Okay, so that one didn't change. This time, though, the 2's out front, we're going to do all the factors of 2. 1 and 2. So plus and minus, okay? And then we're going to list all the P's over Q's. So we have plus and minus 1 over 1, plus or minus 1 over 2, 2 over 1, and then 2 over 2. What is 2 divided by 2? 1. So we don't really have to list it twice. Okay, then we have 3. 3 over 1, 3 over 2, 4 over 1, 4 over 2. And what is 4 over 2? 2. And we already have that one listed, don't we? So we don't have to write it twice. If you do, it's not wrong. Just know that you have a repeater. We have 6 over 1. And then 6 over 2. What is 6 over 2? 3. So, I'm sorry. And we already have 3 written down. So again, we don't have to write it twice. And then we have 12 over 1. 12 over 2, which is 6. And we already have that one. So here's all the possibilities of where this graph possibly could cross the x-axis. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to figure out which one of these does it cross. So we're going to go to our calculators and we're going to type in f of x. And we're trying to get one of them. Synthetically divide. Okay? So we're going to put 2 in the box and synthetically divide. And if we should get 0 down here in the remainder. Is that 6? Negative 6? Negative 2. So there's our remainder is 0. So 2 works. We're going to write our depressed polynomial now. 2x, what power would it be? If I start with 3, what is it going to be? Square. All right, what are some options in solving this? Do y'all want to factor? Quadratic formula? What do you think? We could take out 2. Okay, I like your idea, so let's take out 2. X squared plus 4x minus 3. We can factor that a little further. So Brendan, what are some numbers that would multiply for negative 3 and add to be 4?
Negative 1. Oh, she said Brendan.
Easy, easy. It's okay. Go ahead.
Multiply to get 3.
Yeah, negative 3, but we want to add to get 4.
3 and negative 1. No.
Will it work?
3 and 1.
Well, but we need a negative. Will it work?
No.
Darn. So it's not factorable. So what do you think we might have to do then?
You divide it all by 2 and then factor.
Well, that's what we did. We took the 2 out and we're trying to factor this. If it doesn't factor, what's our other option?
Get the rainbow.
No, not the rainbow because we took the 2 out. Our only option now would be to do the quadratic formula. It doesn't factor. So you're going to have to do the quadratic formula to solve. It doesn't factor. So A is 1, B is 4, and C is negative 3. Okay. All right, I'm going to stop here because I know that you should know how to do the quadratic formula. We're going to stop here because of time.